Welcome to the Next Level Podcast. This is a podcast that covers all things Ridgeview sports from Ridgeview High School in Columbia, South Carolina. Meet the student athletes, coaches, staff, and more that make View County truly next level. Ridgeview High School competes in the Region V-AAAA of the South Carolina High School League and has been serving the Northeast Columbia community since 1995, garnering 12 state championships and 13 state runner-ups in its existence. Learn more about our athletic department at ridgeviewsports.com and across all social media platforms at Ridgeview Sports. My name is Coach Alyssa Burris. If you have not listened to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Next Level Podcast, I encourage you to go listen to it.
Now.
Yes, to learn a little bit more about myself. I am joined today with our head volleyball coach, Coach Monique Lee.
Hey, y'all.
Better known as Coach Mo.
Got him.
Also joined with us is our head girls track and field coach, Coach Warren Eure.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody, sir. So today is a special edition of the Next Level Podcast. We are celebrating National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. Let me say that again.
Yeah.
National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Now,
Who run the world?
Round of applause.
girls.
See, there y'all go.
Now, Coach Eure, you are not of the female gender, right?
No, but got mad love.
But you got mad love for us. So Coach Mo, I think we're gonna let him in today. You know.
Be easy
I mean,
on me.
I guess. Come
Be
on.
Easy, be easy.
So according to nationaltoday.com, this year's focus in National Girls and Women in Sports Day is to focus on breaking the gender stereotypes that are built around the sports industry. So Coach Mo and I have discussed the non-female dominance in the coaching staff here at Ridgeview. We are a very male-dominated staff, but fun fact, out of the 15 sports that are offered here at Ridgeview, 14 of them can have females participating in them. 14 out of the 15 sports either have a subsection or is just co-ed. You know, so Coach Eure, I wanted to ask you, as one of the male coaches that coach a female sport here at Ridgeview, have you experienced or have you seen any gender stereotyping in your sport specifically within your athletes or as a coach?
Oh, wow, that's actually a good question. I say for me personally, I have not. So I think I've definitely been kind of blessed in that standpoint. I think for myself in, putting together the girls track team, or even on the boys side, always trying to find someone that is of the female gender to kind of help with our girls, because it's always great to have someone that they feel comfortable talking to. There's some things that of a female just doesn't feel comfortable talking to a male, and that is totally fine. Right. So, and we get that. So that's always definitely a plus.
So let me ask, in that situation, you coach around 50, 60 athletes that are women or young ladies. What do you do in the situation to where they do not feel comfortable coming to you as their male coach?
I think our admin is a great support staff in that standpoint. Being that I do coach the girls, Miss Porter, Miss Green now, I should say, she has been wonderful with being able to tackle some of the things that I'm just not comfortable touching, or having girls that aren't comfortable talking to me. I can definitely send them to her, and then of course, both of you all are here, and I think a few of my girls that run track, we share athletes. So being able to come to you all and say, hey, this is something that came up. Can you speak to those young ladies and keep things kind of moving smoothly?
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Mo, I wanted to ask you, in your experience here at Ridgeview, talk to me about the inclusion that is felt when it comes to our female athletes.
I'll probably say I want to first speak on the coaching side. I'll probably say we definitely do have a great, as far as leader, as far as in Coach Roseville, as far as for allowing females and the male athletes, our coaches here, to feel included, and they have a say in feeling as though that he has our back with anything. So I'll probably say, coming from different administrations, this is definitely a great spot. So I definitely feel that my questions can be answered, if I have as far as some ideas or anything, that I'm not hesitant as far as to put those out there in the world as far as to better Ridgeview athletics or even Ridgeview volleyball. Now, probably saying on the athlete part, I do think it may be a little bit different. I'll probably say because of the pandemic, when everyone had to be separated. So, of course, whenever I came in as a volunteer in 2020, like right in the thick of it, it was only parents that were allowed in the gym. So we didn't have football, we didn't have basketball or anybody as far as supporting as far as volleyball because, of course, the pandemic was happening. And then whenever it kind of got back into the schools, I kind of think it's still a little bit separated because they've spent so much time just with their individual sport. But I think that's kind of wearing off a little bit. And I think kind of with me now being in the building and kind of interacting with a whole bunch of sports now I can kind of see where maybe volleyball is supporting basketball a little bit more. Or I probably say last year it was, I think our last season, football actually came out and supported big as far as in I believe against Spring Valley game, and I thoroughly enjoyed as far as their energy. And I think as we keep moving further and further from the pandemic and kind of going back to a little bit of whatever normalcy is, I think it's going to be a little bit more inclusive as far as for basically all athletes to kind of start supporting each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So you made a great point, and that is the pandemic.
Yes.
The pandemic that I don't think we're gonna get out of. Whatever it's gonna turn into, whatever that may look like.
The new normal is what they call it now.
The new normal, but what is the new normal is the big question,
Right.
But
Cough sets one thing off, and it's everyone's
stay
scared.
away.
Right.
But I share a similar experience as you, Coach Mo. As I began coaching here in 2020. My first season, didn't know what it was going to look like, but we made something out of nothing. And, I grant that a lot to our coaching staff that is here at Ridgeview. So kudos to us. Now, I have an open question for the both of you. So whoever decides to take this on, if we all take this on, but let's talk about the importance of, especially our young ladies here at Ridgeview, participating in athletics.
Can I go first?
Yes.
Yeah, I beat the track coach at my speed.
I'm just a gentleman.
You got to be quicker than that, Coach.
I will probably say, like I said, it to me, the pandemic did a lot. So it gives a lot of girls who are probably just sitting at home, and I'll probably say the pandemic happened in the middle of, probably at the beginning of club for volleyball. To where kind of everything kind of ceased and stopped, and it was a lot of athletes that were playing and then stopped, and just everyone had the fear. So with them getting back into sports, I think it's more of that comfort level. It gives them an avenue as far as to release some tension or anything like that. Like I always tell my athletes, anytime when it comes to volleyball should be your release. This should be your happy spot. So whenever you step into the gym, this is where you let all your stressors out. Like, I can always think, what's cooler than hitting a volleyball right down to the ground as far as with as much power as you can.
Aggression, yeah.
That's aggression right there. This is where you let it out. So, with a lot of things, and we're dealing with teenagers here and teenage girls at that, with social media right in their hands, we see it every day. Things and tensions that happen on the cell phone. This is where, it's motto, I guess. Like, come on. Like, what's better than releasing as far as energy? A lot of pent-up energy that they've been so accustomed to being inside to kind of bottling up. Now, I can go out and run track and just relieve stress. I can go and hit a volleyball and release some stress that way. Or, hey, I can shoot a jump shot or anything like that. Like, this is a stress reliever. So I think it's another avenue to release some tension, some stress, and then also actually to kind of find yourself. Because I always attest to sports being a part of life. Like it teaches you things. Like I think is different as far as for track, but for volleyball, it's a team sport. Like it really does require at least 3 touches. So 3 people have to be working together in order to accomplish a goal. So, like I tell my athletes as well, when it comes to anything as far as when it comes to volleyball, take these lessons and put them into life. So, like I said, you go to different teams, different coaches. People have different coaching techniques or styles. That's the same way as far as with managers. Whenever you go work, this is different. You're working. You don't want to work with somebody who has the same mindset as you all the time. Like I said, that's your teammates. How are you going to work through that adversity? How are you going to accomplish your goal? How are you going to basically make that deadline as far as for your assignment? So, just kind of attesting that to life and just allowing them, this is another way that you're going to get a benefit in life.
Coach, I listening to you talk and hearing the way that you describe not only your athletes, but, athletics in general, shows just the parallel between no matter what sport you're doing, volleyball, track, cheerleading, basketball, tennis, it doesn't matter. We all have the same goal in mind for the kids as far as, this is your outlet and things like that. And especially as a young lady, I'm a woman now, but as I think back to my time in high school as a young lady, like I needed those outlets. And the way that we are able to provide those for our kids, and just to hear you talk about it and to hear you describe, what volleyball does for your athletes, you being here in the building and things like that, it's inspiring. And I can't wait for your season now.
Thank you.
Now, the man with the plan.
Oh man, it was funny that you mentioned the pandemic. I think with track and field, it was a little different. Because even when the pandemic hit, we were still able to kind of host a few track meets. They were on the club level, but there was still about 3 or 4 meets that our kids were able to kind of perform in. So the inclusion of being able to have our boys and our girls competing and still working on their crafts was definitely a plus. Now, not a lot of individuals took part in that because, of course, at the time we were all scared. We didn't know what was going to happen, But moving past COVID and getting back to our new normal, I think to answer the question there, track and field is different, right? It's an individual sport with a team aspect, right? So one thing I do like about track and field is, especially no matter if you're a female or a male, you can be you, right? Everybody has a different personality. Everybody has something that separates them from the next person. And with track and field, it's almost like it's highlighted. It's emphasized. Because when you're on the track or you're in one lane, there's only but one person. Now, granted, you have your relays, but still, the relay is only as good as the weakest, is the slowest person, right? So being able to, another thing that you said, find yourself, becoming your own woman, learning what gets you to tick, what gets you up for that competition, what drives you, what brings that dog out of you. Track and field, not to tune our own horn, but I don't know any other sport that emphasizes that from a single aspect.
So Coach, I'm going to stay on you, Coach Eure, for just a moment. Now, I mentioned earlier that Ridgeview High School currently holds 12 state titles since 1995. Mm-hmm. 5 of those state titles have been achieved by our female athletes. Mm-hmm. So I want to take a moment to celebrate you, Coach Eure, and your success in your 8 years here at Ridgeview, and to celebrate your program being the most recent female sport to have a banner hanging in our gym.
Hey.
With your 2018,
Come on now.
Yes,
talk to me,
4A state championship title in girls track and field. Let me repeat that one more time for the people in the back.
Please do. I don't think they hear it.
Your 2018 4A state championship title in girls track and field. So tell us a little bit about what that was like and if that shifted the culture within your program.
Oh, man. That was a great year. You know, the thing that stands out with me with that year, when I became the girls coach in 2016, I say a quarter of the team I kind of already knew just through club track. So those girls kind of understood me. I understood them. They knew my coaching style. They knew, we knew what our purpose was. So when we went into that 18 year, nobody knew that we were close or had a shot except for me. It was very difficult trying to hold it in and, not let the girls know, like, hey,
this is it.
Like, hey, we got it, until after state qualifiers. And the girls kind of started thinking and looking at, okay, we qualified out of this, we qualified out of this, we qualified out of this, and they're over here counting the numbers up. And it's like, Coach, we got a shot. So I'm trying to keep it nonchalant. I mean, maybe. But inside I'm like, wow, right? And the cool thing about 2018, the only event that we actually won it outright and got first in was the 4x4. Every other event, second place here, fourth place here, second place here, fifth place here, and all those points kind of just started adding up. So the girls come to me, they kind of excited, like, Coach, we really don't have to run the 4x4. I was like, wrong. Right? Let's not put that out there. It's like, Coach, like, what do we have to do? Win it.
Yeah.
If we win it, it's sold, right? Granted, I mean, we could have came in sixth place, I think, and still would have won it. And they knew me. And so I needed to make sure they knew, hey, we're not coming here just to barely get by. We came here to dominate. My old college coach used to say, we're trying to kill a gnat with a sledgehammer. So when we come out and compete, well, we come to dominate. And they went out and did it, man. It was a great experience.
So let me ask, how many of those girls that you had on that 2018 team continued to run for you, until they graduated? How many were you able to carry over?
Ooh. So when you're saying carry over, meaning to that next year? Or?
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot here. I ain't prepared you for this.
I think I may have had 3 off of that team come back.
Oh, wow.
But when I look back at the picture when we had our ring ceremony, every one of those girls that scored at that state meet went on to compete in college. So for me, that was, I think that was more fulfilling than winning the state championship.
I mean, Coach, that's truly next level. Like, if we're being honest, that's what this is about. That is truly next level. That is amazing to hear.
That should be on the tagline, 2018 Girls Track.
Right. Hey.
Truly next level.
Let's put it out there. Let's put it out there.
Now, do you think that, that championship mentality, was it something that has grown more for you since 2018? Do you feel like your kids feel that more? We keep talking pandemic, but it has shifted so much in not only the way that I think us as adults think, but the way that our kids are perceiving things. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Honestly, I think it varies from year to year.
Okay.
That 18 team was special, and it kind of started from 16 with some of those girls that had that fire in them, and it definitely trickled into 18 and 19. With the girls that are here now, they definitely have it in them. Trying to pull it out is a little different than getting it out of those girls because the mindsets were totally different. So it comes back onto my shoulders to say, okay, well, you got a whole new team, a whole new genre, a lot of different things happening outside of practices that these girls have to go through, social media, friends, boyfriends, parents, right? So trying to understand that and trying to find a way to say, okay, well, how can I relate what I know and have done in the past to these young ladies to say, okay, hey, this is what we need to do to get this done. So it differs. It differs. So got to put your coach hat on.
Yes. Yes, I think, Coach Mo, we know plenty about that.
Yeah, we definitely do. I think with trying to create that culture, because, of course, with it being my first year as the head coach, so I did have a very senior-led class. So, coming into this next season, I'm like, ooh, what do I have coming up? So, it definitely makes you have to think and actually have to go into as far as your coaching hat, and also kind of make you have to go inside to see what you possibly have to change in order to get the dog out of these girls now, because like I said, I do think they're very different right now than what you said, probably like your 2018 team, or even maybe your team you had last season. Right. So it's just, now you're having to come to grips as far as maybe possibly having to change coaching styles to kind of bring the fight out of these girls and these athletes a lot of times in order to bring out the best. So I'll probably say, with trying to create that culture, it's also kind of having to reaffirm and reattest as far as to yourself as a coach, what you're going to be open to. Are you going to stick to possibly what you did last season or the season before, or is it time to change? And I know us as coaches that change is a hard thing. It's burning me up right now, just thinking about it. But not to cut you off, but if you talk to my girls from 18, when they come back and visit and they see how my style has changed and how much I give way, I've probably got about 8 times already this year. Coach, you soft.
Season hasn't even fully started
right,
yet,
we
Coach.
haven't even got a meeting yet.
I get that with my former athletes too. They be like, "What? You allowed what?"
Right.
Oh, I know. Are you okay, Coach? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. It's just, some things you just got to change as far as with the times, and actually changing as far as with the culture in your actual sport as well, in order to kind of see what you can do as far as to get the best out of these athletes. So
now, Coach Mo, I'm going to direct this directly to you, Coach Eure. I'm going to leave you out of this for just a second.
All right. Get my feet up now.
Yeah,
get relaxed a little bit.
So, Coach Mo, you and I are both females, right?
Yes.
Again, in a very male-dominated coaching staff. How would you say that sports has changed and developed you as not only a person but as a coach?
Ooh. Well, I'd probably say sports or any type of physical activity has always been top for me. I think growing up, I've always been the tomboy. I've jumping off of couches, climbing trees. Even my mom and my grandma were telling me, old Southern kind of, I probably can't even think of the words right now, but girls, if you climb a fruit tree, the fruit tree's gonna die, and I'm like, I'm right there, like that's me up in the apple tree. So anything as far as the physical activity has always been near and dear to my heart. Like I stay watching ESPN. I love sports. I think, like I said, I hate being like the pandemic person, but I even got into cornhole over the pandemic. That's how much, like I said, I watch sports. Like it came on ESPN and I watched it. Yeah. I watched bowling. Like I love sports. So I've always thought, growing up, I'm going to do something in sports. I don't know. I was a 3-sport athlete as far as in high school. So anything relating to sports was always near and dear. And it wasn't until I was in college. I want to say it was my sophomore year at South Carolina State University. Go Bulldogs. But it was the high school coach and her daughter had came to our match. And all she did was she came up and she was like, hey, can you sign this? And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And then her daughter proceeds to ask me, how do I do something? And it related to volleyball. And it was just like, oh, cool. Here, here's some techniques, here's some steps, so-and-so, so-and-so. And then I looked to like her mom, who was the coach, and I was just like, hey, you should try this drill. So and so. And it was just like, it was easy. And then I think I was talking to a teammate, and I was like, yeah, I may want to coach. And one of my teammates who actually played under that coach, she went back to her, and she was just like, hey, the middle that you were talking to, she wants to coach. And she's like, I'm thinking about starting a club team. And I was their first club coach that started that club program, and is actually still around to this day. As we went from one team, and actually, like I said, it was growing that culture. And like I said, it was just something about me giving back to what I love, which is volleyball, and it just grew a passion. So from that point on, I was, like I said, of course, I was going to major in physical education, because that's what, to me,
because why not?
I mean, why not? But it was just something that I was going to do something in sports, whether it was going to be coaching on the administrative side. They tried to put me in the communicate. Well, I did graduate sport communication, but television and all that, it wasn't for me. But
maybe podcasting.
Maybe, ding, ding, ding. But it was always something with it. And I think when I stepped away from it and kind of joined what I call the corporate world and all that stuff, it left out a passion to where it was something like, I'm unhappy, I need to go back into coaching. And from that point on, when I realized that this was a passion of mine again, like, it was no holds bar. Like, I stepped on the gas and went with it. So, anything as far as relating to giving back to me, the volleyball community, I'm there for it. Like, it's just something about giving. Like, to me, coaching does give back. Like, I'm giving back the knowledge that I know in order to help grow you as an athlete. And I would one day want for you to give back that knowledge. So I just think it's just kind of like a stepping stone for athletes and future athletes. And like I said, it's a passion of mine. It's not some people's passion. Like, they can play the sport or they can play sports and just be like, okay, I'm done. It's just not for me. Like, I live this. I breathe this. I think I have more leggings and tights and coaching apparel than I actually have real clothes.
Sure.
So and I'm happy with that. So like I said, it's a happiness. It's a happy spot for me. And like I said, and I hope that one day that I just light a spark, just kind of like how that coach and my teammate did in me, to allow me to take that step into going actually into sport as a business. So.
Yes, Coach, love to hear it, love to see it. So we're going to go ahead and kind of wrap things up. Coach Morin, I know you have track tryouts coming up here shortly.
Yes.
We'll try to get you out of here, but if not,
I can still run, Coach. I could still
still
possibly run.
Okay.
Not
Possibly.
running unless somebody's chasing me. Okay, so.
Possibly.
Look here, I need some jumpers, man. I need some jumpers.
Yeah, no, not with these old knees. Anyway, so I'm going to leave y'all with kind of some fun facts about women's sports, kind of true or false style, okay? So first one, true or false? Many physical demanding sports were made less demanding for women. True or false?
I'm going to say true.
Okay. Coach Mo?
I'm going to say false.
Okay, Coach Eure, you are correct. This statement is unfortunately true. Okay, examples include netball, which was developed out of basketball, and softball out of baseball. So, next one, true or false? In ancient times, women were only allowed to be spectators at the Olympics.
Definitely true.
True.
This is false.
What?
Women were not even allowed to be spectators. They couldn't participate. They couldn't even watch it.
Oh, wow.
So that was a trick. That was a trick question.
That was a trick question.
I don't like trick questions.
Well, had to stump y'all somehow.
Wow.
All right, and then the last one here, true or false? When it began to emerge, women's sports were only recreational and not sport specific.
I'm going to say true.
Okay.
I'm going false.
Coach Mo, you are correct. This is true.
Got a point on the board.
They were non-competitive, informal, ruleless, and had only an emphasis on physical activity. So, coaches, we're going to have to get together again because right now y'all are 1-1.
Right.
We have to have a tiebreaker, and unfortunately, I don't have one.
Oh, man.
We got to duke it out.
We got to duke it out. All right. I challenge you to a track meet.
Have fun with that.
Look, remember, my volleyball girls, I mean, we did do a relay, and we did call y'all out on Instagram, so.
You did.
But you know where I can include myself? I'm just going to insert myself. I will bring cheerleaders to this event. So, coaches, I just want to say thank you for joining me to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and thank you for your commitment to our female athletes here in View County.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Love you, View County.
Love you, View County.
Love you, View County.
Until next time, this was the Next Level Podcast.
Burr, 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 burr.